In respiration in plants, what happens is that we all know that, we have studied this in our earlier classes, that beneath the underside of the leaf, for example, if this is the leaf, right, the under portion of the leaf, there are the small pores known as the stomata, right? So stomata are basically openings through which the exchange of gases take place. So basically, carbon dioxide goes in and oxygen is taken out. So all this exchange of gases happens through the stomata. We have there's something called the stomata apparatus. Who can answer what is a stomatal apparatus? This is basically stomatal, right? There would be L here.
Ma'am, I know. I
Yeah,
think.
please do
Ma'am, it's
share.
like this whole stomata, which consists of the stoma, and the guard cells,
Correct. And
including the chloroplast in the guard cells.
see, so when we say, stomatal apparatus, a stomatal apparatus would actually mean a pair of these guard cells. Of course, there would be a pair of guard cells. This is the stoma, which is the opening, which is called the stoma. But along with the pair of guard cells, there would be certain epithelial cells also.
Ma'am, epithelial cells.
Yes, correct. Surrounding the guard cells, there would be certain epithelial cells. So this entire thing is known as the stomatal apparatus. Please remember this. I'm sure this is a new thing that you're studying.
Ma'am,
Apparatus.
but why does even the epithelial cells get considered?
I'll tell you. This is what I'll be. This is what we will be discussing.
Ma'am, is
Because
Ma'am, for the closing and opening and water?
no closing and opening of water to this, turgidity, the guard
Ma'am,
cells will do the work.
water transport.
Yes, water transportation and also transportation of other nutrition and other substances. Who will send glucose to the guard cells?
ma'am?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you don't know what?
Ma'am, that you have asked.
Sorry?
Ma'am, the question you asked right now.
Okay, stomatal apparatus. All right, fine. So basically, what happens is that, through this opening, this is the small opening that I was talking about, which is there underneath the leaf. Correct. Now, inside through this opening, carbon dioxide goes in and oxygen goes out. Right. So this is the opening, right? And the opening or the closing. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me when does the stomatal port? They see, even the plants are intelligent. They don't have brains, but they're smart enough to keep the stoma closed so that the excess water do not escape from the stomata through evaporation or whatsoever. That's the reason why when there's excessive heat outside, when the heat is really high and the sunlight is like too much, that is when the stomata closes. And who is responsible for the opening and closing of stomata? The guard cells.
Guard cells.
Correct. If you have noticed, the inner cell wall here is so thick and the outer cell wall is comparatively thinner. With all of you, though I'm running out of time, but still I want to share. It is a very beautiful experiment that has been done by a scientist lately. He went to a forest, right? And in a forest, you would find that normally trees, very old trees and very, what do you say, very strong trees are there very close by to each other, right? Now, what he saw is that, one day this tree was cut, right? Somebody, a woodcutter came and they cut this tree. You would not believe, you know okay, instead of giving this example, let me give you one more example. I'm sure all of you must have heard about this example. There was a classroom, right? uh, in a classroom they have potted two plants of the same type. Both the
Yes, ma'am.
plants were of the same type, same height, they bought the same day, everything was the same, and they have named it plant A and plant B. Every day in the morning, a few children would surround plant A and they would sing songs, lovely song for half an hour, 10 minutes, every day. They did this for 10 days, right? They would sing a song, they would laugh, they would joke, they would play around, they would basically, they would be very happy and they would show their happiness in front of plant A. And in front of plant B again, a few group of students would gather again every day for half an hour for 10 days, and they would, say bad words. They would share things that
Ma'am,
were very sad. Sorry?
tease them. Tease the plant.
Tease the plant as in, yeah, and they would discuss very sad sordid things of the past, bad events, as in anything and anything and everything that is negative that they would discuss after 10
Ma'am, it is similar to Apple story.
So, this is real. This has actually been done in a school in Japan. So, within 10 days, all the leaves withered away and the plant actually died. But here on the 11th day, this had a beautiful flower. So, how do you think this is possible?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, I
because of
can't believe it.
Yeah,
ma'am, because of
because
negativity,
yeah, so
it,
there's
it
something
would
called
feel the
energy.
negativity.
There is something called, yeah, so this is something called vibration. There's something called energy, which the plants receive it through transmitters, and these transmitters work. The plants can feel it. They might not have brain, but they can feel it, whether it's good or bad, happy or sad, nice or not so nice. They feel it. There's a very beautiful experiment also which has been done in a forest. I'm just losing a few threads, that's why I'm not able to share it, but that's even more wonderful. How each plant, how each tree actually help each other to actually again regain that strength, regain and then grow, right? So maybe someday I'll share that. Okay, now getting back to our topic, even roots have the ability to respire. Respiration can be done by roots also. Okay, we are almost completed, right? Right, well said. Have everyone under, okay, first of all, let me just tell you what are mangroves. Mangroves are got nothing to do with mangoes. Okay, mangroves are basically trees which grows in marshy area. For example, a very famous mangrove in India are the Sundarbans.
I'm
Sundarban.
Sundarbans in West Bengal.
Yes, Sundarban in West
Sundarban
Bengal.
Delta.
Yes, Sundarban Delta, which is,
Ma'am,
yeah,
ma'am,
yeah.
they grow on water, but like, how do they stay over there? Like, won't it just drown down? I
See,
know it
so
floats, but that will be
basically,
just too heavy, right?
As they don't stay in water, they stay in mushy, like really wet soil, right?
very wet soil, exactly. See, if this is the water out here, the marshy area or the water, so the roots, you can see the roots even from above, the roots are really
Yes,
deep
ma'am.
rooted till they reach the soil. They have to touch base the
Okay,
soil.
so the roots grow out
The roots
because
grow
they,
out
ma'am,
because
I
Ma'am,
know that. Like, my doubt was like, I thought they used to float on
no, they
the
don't
top.
ma'am,
float.
our
They
teacher
have,
had said that they go inside the soil and from inside the soil they come out from another passage and they come out.
see, not really. There is a certain part of the root which has to be anchored to the soil. If it's not to the soil, then they will float, which doesn't happen. They are rooted in a soil. The soil is very like, what do I say, very clayey and marshy, very soft soil. And
But
the water,
Miss,
and the water is not very deep, let me tell you. It is only at the edges that it grows. So the roots actually come out like this in the air till they get, these lenticels which actually take in oxygen. Yeah, Vatsala, tell me.
a plant can also survive in water.
Below the water, as in the ocean floor, you're saying?
No, Miss. Like in a glass bottle, I filled tap water, and I from the nodes I cut a money plant, and I put it in that water, and Miss, it has survived. It's been like 3 to 4 weeks, and it's growing really well.
Of course, that is vegetative reproduction because money plant, money plant, we call it as pothos. Money plant have got the ability to vegetatively grow through their stem. Not every plant, if you dip every plant in water, it might not grow. Pothos can grow vegetatively. If even if it doesn't have root, Even if you have taken just a portion of the stem with two leaves and put it in water, it will still grow. You will find roots coming out. Many a times you will find aerial roots coming out like this, small, small.
Ma'am,
Growing
but
wonderfully. Yeah.
they won't have any soil, right? Then how?
So they will get all the they are only concerned with nutrition and water
Ma'am,
and
There
how
is
will
sunlight.
no
they get
nutrition in
oxygen?
water.
Like,
So they are getting oxygen. It's there all in the air, no? Vatsala's room there is air. They're getting oxygen.
Ma'am,
So they're
like,
getting
okay, ma'am, I thought like suppose in a jar the money plant was growing inside the jar.
not fully inside.
So like I took a jar and I
Fully,
filled tap water in it. I took like a money plant and both sides of the node I cut it with scissors. And then the node with the roots hanging was left and the leaf. So I put that in the water and it has water and I put water because the plant takes the water, right. So like
yeah.
so
But
it
but the leaves
increasing.
are outside, right? A portion
Yeah,
of the
the
stem and
leaves
the
are
leaves are
outside.
outside.
Only
Yes.
the roots
So
in the water.
pothos is a very highly adaptable plant. It requires little or no sunlight. Even if you keep it in a dark place, it will
Ma'am,
still grow. Yes.
ma'am, like I thought that inside a bottle or something,
Mm-hmm.
the it was
Entire
filled with
plant.
water and there was the plant. So that's what I was wondering, like without oxygen, how was it?
Oh, okay. No, no. See, if you have to look at it that way, if you see aquariums, aquariums have aquatic plants which are fully submerged in water. Even in the ocean floor, rivers, ponds, there are certain plants which grow on the
ma'am,
Ma'am,
rivers.
so
but
they
there's
do have
sand down, right?
There is
Ma'am,
soil down and there are dissolved oxygen also in the water. And they
yes,
get
ma'am, but
sunlight
like
because water is transparent. They get sunlight, they get oxygen, they get nutrients, so they get everything.
yes, ma'am. But then the stomata, this like what the water can go inside stomata, right?
Yeah, that will happen, but then again, the mechanism is a little different. That's the reason why they're classified into aquatic plants and terrestrial plants.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
so,
right? The
ma'am, if we
aquatic
put
plants,
terrestrial plants totally inside water, of
mm,
course they wouldn't survive.
they wouldn't survive because there are very few terrestrial plants like money plant.
And then what about aquatic plants staying on land?
They would not be able to adapt. They will wither away.
With how like
It's like
okay,
saying, it's like saying that, monkeys and human beings, they're all mammals. But why can't human beings stay on the trees? Why can't monkeys stay
Yeah,
at home?
that's impossible.
So that's like,
yes, ma'am, but
their
I
adaptability is such.
ma'am, I know that, but like the day they are just taken out of the water, like would they just die that time?
If not immediately, but I'm sure, within a few
Okay,
days.
like I knew, of course, they would die because they can't adapt that environment, but they would at least last for 2 3 weeks.
Yeah. So Unmana, in case of lotus, does it float or is it like mangrove? No, Unmana, lotus is not mangrove. Lotus has got deep roots, right? And which actually,
It is a aquatic plant. Ma'am,
it
at
is,
least tell you which type is that.
and the roots do touch the floor. If I'm not wrong, lotus roots do touch the floor of the water body or wherever it is being planted. Right, so mangroves are completely different. They are like big trees, like sundari tree is a pure tree, is a tree which grows only in marshy areas, which is a mangrove tree. Okay. Okay, we are almost done with
Ma'am,
today's class. Yeah.
what Unmana said, I have the answer.
Okay.
Um, uh, a lotus is a free floating and a rooted plant in hydrophytes.
Hmm.
So these plants, the roots are fixed in the soil and the leaves remain afloat due to the long petioles.
Hmm.
Examples are lotus and water lily.
Correct, yeah. Yes, so Unmana, you got your answer. Right, mangroves are different and lotus is different. If I may say, I don't know if there is a word called amphibian plants. Mangroves,
Ma'am,
lotus are
they're
there. Yes.
mesophytes, ma'am, mesophytes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else who has any doubts, any question related to today's class? Please ask.